Hello there. We have successfully completed weeks 1 and 2. I'm very glad to share that with you. And by now, you should be very comfortable with how different frames of reference can impact us all in the workplace, as well as when you are communicating in your everyday lives. So, one thing I want you to do is to begin to think about taking a vow to yourself today as well as going forward, that you will be cognizant of how you communicate with others as well as yourself. Because we do self talk, right? So tell yourself that you are wonderful right now, right where you are, and that you have chosen the right career path, you've chosen the right academic path towards the career that you're going to pursue. And basically, what that's about is just picking something. Because even if it changes, like I don't know if any of you have taken a look at my LinkedIn, but my route to where I am today was not straight up. It had a circuitous route to it. And what I took in college did not necessarily mean that was where I was going to end up. So, to get the learning and the knowledge that I was able to receive, I had to do many different things. So, one thing you have learned is that communication is hard work. Strive to make the world a better place for all people by exercising positive communication skills that you learned during your college experience. The quote that we want to always keep in mind from this course is that the message that counts is the one that is received by the sender. So if I'm the receiver, then I should have received exactly what the sender intended for me to receive. The responsibility for communication is always on the sender. So sometimes we have to repeat ourselves and check ourselves. And if that's what you need to do, that's fine. Just check how the message was received, either verbally or through the written word. One way you can do that is to repeat what you've been asked. So, whatever the question is, you can begin the question with a statement. So, what I've heard you say is, and then you begin your statement. These methods are acceptable and they can lead to a creation of successfully energized interactions. Our textbook reveals the frame of reference is a proven tool. It's like a proving ground. So oftentimes, business leaders fail to pay attention to this important aspect of communication by not finding out what the individual that they're speaking to frame of reference is. And they risk losing the acceptance of proposals, successful pitches, and sales presentations. So always know your audience. Businesses can be successful when they have the best communicators on board. Check out Shark Tank. The fact that there are 5 types of organizations in the workplace today may have been new to you all. There's no clear cut line between the human relations and the human resources model, only a gradual shift, according to our text. Advocates of the human resources model are drawn to it because it focuses on both increasing employee satisfaction and improved organizational decision making. At the same time, the human resources model emphasizes both relational communication. That means the communication is open, it's supportive, it's friendly, and commands communication. When you work in large organizations, and I've been there, and businesses, you may be familiar with the traditional organization where there's standards, where there's guidelines and regulations. Having been employed in several large organizations myself, I observed how there was little to no room for individual ideas and decision making, since it's always delivered top down in a traditional organization. Now, management expects to be respected, and employees take pride in their end of year results and achievements. I would say 99% of you thought the Enron Corporation was a traditional model, and it was. It was a very large corporation. It had many layers to it, and leadership was separate from the everyday goings and comings of the operation. However, towards the end, everyone had to band together, right, and figure out what was going to be their next moves. The organization where one size fits does not fit all is our systems contingency. That recognizes that one size does not fit all, and there's no single best organizational model for it. But it addresses industries with strong cultural roots and where changes are made rapidly and have to be made based on the environment, both internally as well as externally. So we find car manufacturers. We talked about the Walt Disney Corporation. Several of you mentioned liking the Walt Disney Corporation, a family owned business. And now that family is going to dictate, and that's an internal, what the decisions are going to be made, and that is internally. When lifelong culture is driven by stories such as symbols and like they have at Disneyland, and jargon and ceremonies and statements, these mere misrepresentations of such objects can conjure up wrong images of the products and services consumers purchase. So we have to beware. But once a culture is created, it does perpetuate itself. So it continues throughout the lifeline of the company. Now, in today's society, none of these organizational models that have been mentioned in our text are supportive in a global marketplace where there are no borders or exact and specific constraints that can create limitations due to standardized rules and regulations. Ambiguity can exist in an environment such as this. Therefore, the transformational management style can be used to decentralize organizations and support these structures in a virtual video conferencing business, such as online courses. And you're in one today, and these courses are offered. It's very common for all colleges and universities to have them today. So I just want to give you that brief overview of our first 2 weeks of class. Now we're going into week 3. We're going to talk about conflicts and how to overcome them. So I thank you, and we'll continue to roll down this academic world. Now, being that this is the beginning of our week 3, you're going to start your group work. The groups have been designated. You will find, if you take a look at the tab on the side of Blackboard, you will find a tab there for yourself, or a group for yourself. And most all the groups are 4 members. And, or I'll put it this way. I've divided your groups up evenly. That's the best way to put it, okay? And if you have any questions, if you can't get into your groups, but do begin to communicate together. You can email one another, you can text each other. If you're going to pick up a outside chat or group me, something like that, please include me in it so that I can see that you are communicating with each other. And do get started as early as possible and communicate with me and let me know if there's any questions, if there's a lack uh, of communication from someone, if you're not all on board and you're beginning to feel a little uncomfortable because there's tasks and work that have to be done to make the end project successful. Thank you.